Hello and welcome to Let's Play King's Quest VII, The Princeless Bride. That title, in case you didn't know, is a play on the title of one of my favorite movies, The Princess Bride. Inconceivable! Okay, moving on. King's Quest VII was a bit of a departure from the previous entries in the series. The most obvious changes are the graphical style, which now uses Disney-style animations, and the abandonment of the icon-driven interface in favor of a single context-sensitive cursor. Also changed somewhat is the tone. This game seems to be targeted at a younger audience than the previous games. Did these changes help or hinder the game? Well, we're just gonna have to play the game and find out for ourselves, won't we? One more thing before we start. As with King's Quest VI, and as you're probably expecting by now, I'm recording this game's music using my Roland Sound Canvas SC-88. As usual. Seems to be the short version. Of the fanfare that they use there. And those two tunes are actually digital. Although if you pay attention you can hear that they use the same sound set as the sound canvas. Proving my assertion that music from this era of Sierra games was written for the sound canvas. Although the digital tracks tend to use some post-processing effects that you don't get with the MIDI music. And we'll of course start by watching the intro. Unfortunately, despite the title, this game is not narrated by Peter Falk. Which is a shame, because that would have made it a billion times more awesome.
It's time to settle down, put childish things away. Aren't you happy, thrilled, delighted? You're going to be a bride. Yes, I'm so excited. I want to run and hide. I want to go to a land beyond dreams, where everything's new. Really what it seems. Enchantment, adventure are waiting for me. I'll find that magic land, a land beyond dreams.
So sorry, Princess. I never step on Mama's feet when we're dancing.
All right, I admit Prince Rupert is, well, he's a bit awkward, dear.
That's putting it mildly.
But speaking of princes, my pretty daughter, it really is time you thought about getting married.
Oh, Mother.
Now, Rosella, you're nearly 20 years old. Most of your friends are already married.
Mother, I'm not ready. There are so many things I haven't done yet. I want to have fun.
But, Rosella, I happen to know that Prince Throckmorton of Montecore is just mad about you.
Prince Throckmorton? Mother, he's so boring.
He's not boring, Rosella. He's reliable. And he's so handsome. He has the most beautiful smile, don't you think? And he's so intelligent. How many young men do you know whose hobby is conjugating Latin verbs? And you know you should consider yourself lucky. Every princess in the known world is just dying to marry Prince Throckmorton. You really must strike while the iron is hot, Rosella. That's why I've invited the prince to... Rosella!
Seems somebody has replaced the plot to King's Quest with the plot to every single Disney movie ever made, including its own I Want song. Although I have to say I can kind of see Rosella's point there. I mean, conjugating Latin verbs? I mean, I think that's boring, and I make Let's Play videos on YouTube, let's face it. The only way you can be cool while conjugating Latin verbs is if you're Stephen Fry. Anyway, let's start a new game. And we have to name it. Don't wonder why adventure game characters always think it's a good idea to jump into puddles when they see weird things in them. You'd think they'd know better by now. But apparently not. And I'm naming my game Let's Play. Very original, that. I'm betting you would never have guessed that I would do that. And I get to choose which chapter. So I can just start from chapter 6, near the end of the game, and say, screw the rest of the game, I'm going to make this a short Let's Play. But I'm not doing that, don't worry. Chapter 1, Where in the Blazes Am I?
My daughter! Rosella! Where are you? Blast! What is this place? Where is my Rosella, my child?
Well, I guess that answers that question. I know where we are, in a Roadrunner cartoon. Or a rip-off of that, anyway. Other than that, it is still a bit vague. As you can see, we're playing as Valanice, not as Rosella, as you might have expected. Although this game is actually the only game in the King's Quest series where you have multiple protagonists, because we will be switching between Valanice and Rosella during the game. You can also notice some of the other changes that I already mentioned, such as the animation, and I think you may have already spotted one of the problems with the animation, because although it is often described as Disney-style animation, it is not exactly Disney quality, now is it? In fact, most of the animation in this game is mediocre at best. I guess we can forgive them because this was the first CR game that used this animation style, and they did get better at it later with games like Torrent's Passage and Space Quest 6. But it's kind of like the voices in King's Quest 5. Just because it's the first time you do something is not really an excuse to be bad at it. And it does hurt this game quite a bit, unfortunately. You'll also notice, as I said, that I don't have any icons anywhere. I just have this magic wand, and it sparkles whenever there's anything I can interact with, such as this thing here, which is a piece of Valanice's petticoat, which she ripped off when we got here. quite clumsy, if you ask me. Now, one of the effects of that, as you just saw, is that you cannot look at anything before picking it up, if it can be picked up, or look at the background or anything. Nor is there any narrator. If in those situations where there is something to look at, Felonies herself will talk about it. You can, however, still examine objects in more detail by picking them up from the inventory here and holding them over the eye icon here, which gives you this little 3D inset, and you can rotate the object and everything. In some cases, like this one, that is just kind of neat. In others, it is actually necessary to do this to find things on the object that can be manipulated or separated from the object. And if you're using an inventory item, if it can be used with something, it will turn white, as you can see. So we can use the comb, which actually belongs to Rosella. She dropped it before jumping into the puddle, or whatever it was, at the beginning, and Felonies picked it up before jumping after her. So is she gonna comb her hair or something? Nope. She's gonna have a cry about it. I guess it reminds her of Rosella. Can we repair the petticoat? No. It's a bit strange that sometimes you can use inventory items on each other, but most of the times you can't. And you don't get any I can't do that message or anything. Another thing that's different in this game is that you cannot really save. In the original version of the game, you actually could not save at all. In this version, you can make one save game, but that's it. Which is annoying for me when making the videos, that's for sure. Also be very careful with this screen, because this exit button is actually the same thing as this. Keep all bookmark and quit the game. It does not just quit this screen. If you want to quit the screen, you have to use make new bookmark and quit playing, or just yeah, that's actually the only way to get out of this screen. So I guess we'll have to do that, which saves the game. So yeah, that's not really all that helpful. In the original version of the game, it would automatically save when you quit, and that was the only way you could save. Which was annoying, because the original version also had a couple of bugs, and you couldn't save to make sure that you didn't lose any progress when the game crashed. The game also indicates how far along you are in the chapter, rather than having points as before. Well, that's enough introduction, I guess. We'll figure out what is going on and what we can do in the next video.